On October 14, 2024, 6 new lawsuits were filed against Sean Combs, adding to the mountain of accusations that already surround the mogul. These lawsuits, filed in New York federal court, detail a range of disturbing incidents that allegedly occurred over the past 3 decades. These lawsuits, filed in New York federal court, detail a range of disturbing incidents that allegedly occurred over the past 3 decades. The allegations paint a picture of a pattern of behavior involving drugging, coercion, and sexual assault, raising serious questions about Combs' conduct and the systemic abuse of power. The North Carolina Boy, 1998. One of the 6 plaintiffs, a man from North Carolina, claims that he was just 16 years old when he attended one of Sean Combs' exclusive white parties in 1998. These parties, held at Combs' Hamptons mansion, were known for attracting the elite of the entertainment world. The plaintiff, aspiring to break into the music industry, claims that during the event, Combs fondled him against his will. This incident, according to the lawsuit, has caused lasting psychological trauma and public humiliation for the plaintiff. This accusation is especially concerning given the victim's age at the time, introducing the possibility of charges involving sexual assault of a minor, which could carry severe legal penalties. The Security Guard, 2006. Another lawsuit comes from a man who was employed as a security guard at one of Combs' famous white parties in 2006. The plaintiff, a New Jersey resident, alleges that Combs gave him 2 drinks laced with drugs, possibly ecstasy, rendering him incapacitated. The security guard claims that he was then dragged into a van by Combs and sexually assaulted. This case, involving drugging and assault, not only raises issues of sexual misconduct, but also brings into play potential charges for the use of controlled substances and kidnapping. The Biggie Smalls Party, 1995. A female plaintiff also stepped forward, alleging that during a promotional party for Biggie Smalls in 1995, Sean Combs raped her. According to the lawsuit, Combs asked the woman for a private conversation, during which he allegedly slammed her head into a wall and assaulted her. The victim recalls Combs threatening her life if she ever spoke about the incident, allegedly saying, "You better not tell anyone about this, or you will disappear." The violent nature of this accusation adds an additional layer of severity, potentially leading to charges of aggravated sexual assault and intimidation of witnesses. The Macy's Incident, 2008. In another shocking revelation, a former Macy's employee has accused Combs of sexual assault in a public space. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiff, a fashion industry worker, was assaulted by Combs in a stockroom at Macy's Herald Square in Manhattan in 2008. He claims that Combs, aided by bodyguards, physically assaulted him and forced him to perform oral sex. Macy's is also implicated in the lawsuit, as the plaintiff alleges that the company ignored his report and subsequently fired him to protect their relationship with Combs. If proven, this incident could result in charges against both Combs and Macy's for complicity in a cover-up. The Georgia Man, 2021. One of the more recent allegations comes from a Georgia man who claims he was drugged and sexually assaulted by Sean Combs and 2 other men in 2021. The plaintiff recounts feeling paralyzed and trapped in his own body while the assault took place, a horrific account that parallels other claims of drugging and sexual abuse. This case could further expose Combs to drug-related charges, adding weight to the claims that these incidents form part of a broader pattern of behavior. The Brooklyn College Student, 2004. The final plaintiff, a woman from Brooklyn, claims that she and her friend were invited by Combs to a hotel room in 2004. According to her lawsuit, the 2 were coerced into drinking alcohol and taking drugs. Once intoxicated, the plaintiff alleges that Combs fondled and raped her while threatening to kill both women if they ever went to the police. This accusation introduces elements of coercion and physical violence, potentially leading to multiple criminal charges, including rape, drug distribution, and threats of violence. Sean Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul, faces 6 new lawsuits filed in October 2024, following a pattern of sexual assault spanning decades. These new allegations show the very essence of Sean Diddy Combs' character and the integrity of his business dealings. His empire, built on music, fashion, and a carefully crafted public image, is under siege. The accolades and achievements that once defined his career now stand in stark contrast to the 126 total allegations he faces so far. 6 new lawsuits were filed, adding to an existing list of 120 accusations, most of which involve serious criminal charges with the highest penalties in our legal system. Sex trafficking victims across state lines, RICO charges, racketeering, and countless sexual abuse allegations and several minors. These accusations threaten Combs with severe jail time. The man who once stood as a symbol of success and resilience in the face of adversity now faces several life-in-prison sentences. Combs' legal team calls the allegations baseless and opportunistic. They argue that these claims are attempts to exploit his wealth and fame, painting him as a target rather than a perpetrator. They point to his philanthropic work and business acumen. Over the years, Combs has donated millions to various causes, supported emerging artists, and built a business empire that employs thousands. However, the sheer volume and severity of the claims of minors being drugged and abused in his parties. The lawsuits detail incidents that, if proven true, could indicate a long-standing pattern of unethical behavior. The cases, individually and collectively, raise serious questions about Combs' business practices and associates. Each allegation adds a layer of complexity to the narrative, making it difficult to separate all the different crimes committed by the different characters. They offer a glimpse into the entertainment industry, where power and wealth often collide with the exploitation and abuse of innocent victims. The stories emerging from these lawsuits reveal a side of Bad Boy Records' Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, and other A-list celebrities' dealings never seen in public. The outcome of these legal battles will have far-reaching consequences, not just for Combs, but for the countless artists associated with him and employees who have navigated his orbit. The verdicts of this case might set a precedent, influencing how future cases of this nature are handled and perceived. As the world watches, Sean Diddy Combs is accused of running an organized criminal network that exploited women sexually. The charges allege that he drugged and trafficked women for prostitution, often targeting vulnerable young women seeking to break into the music industry. Racketeering and sex trafficking are some of the most serious crimes under U.S. law, and a conviction could lead to life imprisonment. Public opinion is divided, with some standing by Combs, citing many men in circles of power act the same way, while others call for accountability and justice. The court of public opinion can be as influential as the legal system itself. As the legal proceedings unfold, these lawsuits involve claims of drugging, coercion, and exploitation, with many plaintiffs alleging that Combs used his power and influence to intimidate them into silence. While these civil cases do not directly result in criminal penalties, they could lead to substantial financial damages, potentially draining Combs' wealth as legal battles drag on. Sean Combs could be found guilty on all charges, both state and federal. A guilty verdict for racketeering and sex trafficking would likely result in the harshest penalties, including a potential life sentence. State convictions for sexual assault, drugging, and kidnapping could add decades to his sentence. If convicted on all counts, Combs would face the possibility of dying in prison. The sentencing phase would also consider the aggravating factors of his crimes, including the number of victims, the duration of the abuse, the use of drugs, and any evidence of coercion or threats. These factors would likely lead to a lengthier sentence, particularly if the judge deems Combs' actions to be part of a systemic abuse of power. For accomplices named in the lawsuits, including bodyguards and other associates who were allegedly involved in facilitating the assaults, their fates are closely tied to the outcome of Combs' trial. These new accusations are particularly damaging, given Combs' history. Prosecutors could offer plea deals in exchange for testimony against Combs, a tactic frequently used in high-profile cases involving organized criminal activity. If they refuse or are implicated themselves, they too could face lengthy prison sentences, particularly if they are convicted of aiding in sex trafficking, drugging, or kidnapping. So what does all of this mean for Sean Combs legally? Let's break it down. The legal stakes for Combs are high, facing multiple federal charges. Diddy is already facing federal charges for racketeering and sex trafficking, which come with extremely serious penalties. Convictions for racketeering alone can lead to a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison, and if the sex trafficking charges stick, he could be facing life imprisonment without parole. State charges and civil suits lawsuits might mean millions in damages. In addition to his federal legal battles, Diddy is also facing multiple civil lawsuits. While civil cases don't lead to jail time, they can result in massive financial penalties. Plaintiffs are likely seeking millions in damages, which could severely impact his fortune, already under strain from legal fees. More importantly, a guilty verdict could irreparably mean the complicity of others. It's not just Diddy on trial. Several of his associates, including bodyguards and event organizers, and a long list of celebrities are implicated in these lawsuits. If they are found guilty of complicity in drugging and sexual assault, they too could face severe legal consequences, including prison time. The allegations, if proven true, would mean Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Jennifer Lopez, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, and many others as predators who abused their power and influence to commit these crimes. The lawsuits also mention and have allegations of witness tampering. Diddy's legal team has also been accused of attempting to tamper with witnesses, a major legal no-no. If proven, this could add more years to his sentence, as obstructing justice is a serious crime. Now let us take a closer look at these new allegations in detail. Let's listen now to the victims and their story, as it's the most important part of the process, bringing justice and healing.